Men of Reddit. What's a thing that can be scary about being a man? My last relationship, I got cheated on. She, my ex, spread rumors that I was abusive and violent. To hide the fact she's an unloyal person, I had to find out through her best friend messaging me asking me if it was true. Because I seemed like the nicest person. And she wanted to know the truth. I explained and she was shocked. I was shocked. I didn't think she'd stoop lower than she had done already. I'm lucky no one took her serious enough to contact the authorities. I am pretty young. But somehow, this shit still happens. I was playing with my sisters at the park. And we were playing tag. At one point, this middle-aged lady comes up to my sisters and asks if they know me. And how they know me and whatever. I come up to her and say, "Those are my sisters." And she just gives me the stink eye. Ignores me. And turns back to my sisters and keeps interrogating them. It was only after my mom came to see what was going on that the lady left. BTW. I'm in middle school. And have been mistaken for being 11 years old. So I don't know what that lady thought I was doing. Maybe she was trying to kidnap your sisters. When I was a teenage boy, my sister fell into a river. My dad put his hand on my back and pushed me in after her, saying go get her. Her leg was stuck on something but I got it free and she swam back to shore. I, however, was pinned by branches under the water that had somehow gotten around me. There was a whole tree under the surface. I remember looking up to the water's surface and seeing the silhouettes of my family members walk away from the edge and thinking no. Wait. Long story short, my fight or flight system kicked in and I scrambled as hard as I could to free myself and eventually got free and came up to take the best breath ever. But when I was crawling back on the sand, my dad, sister and brother were about 100 yards down the bank. He turned and said, "Come on." And I hurried after while gagging on water. That about sums up my experience so far. People just expect you to be okay in obviously dangerous situations. I knew guys who drank themselves to death because liquor is easy but saying I need help is hard. But that's just terrible from your dad, I'm gonna be honest. I jump in. Not my son. I'm 29 and don't have a girlfriend. My fear isn't so much not finding someone, there's always time for that. My fear is meeting someone I think is the right person. Having kids and it doesn't turn out to be the case. I'm 29. Met someone I thought was the right person. Had a daughter and it didn't turn out to be the case. Yep. It sucks. Your whole identity is wrapped up in your job. You weren't born to be a doctor, lawyer or entrepreneur. You must be some kind of loser. Your industry is laying people off. You're definitely a loser. Your fault for choosing the wrong major 20 years ago. Gosh, this hits home. Being told that because you're a man you aren't allowed to succumb to your chronic lower back pain. That you're less of a man because you have some days where you have trouble walking or even getting out of bed because it hurts to even breathe. Edit. To everyone who has commented with their story so far and the more, I'm sure, to come. Thank you all. I truly appreciate the support I've gotten for my own situation as well as being able to see what others are going through and that it doesn't have to be gone through alone. I thank you all and I'm sorry. I more than likely won't be able to respond to everyone but I will do my damnedest to at least read all I can. Please know that if anyone wants to play a game online with me to forget the pain or just to do something other than hurt I will be happy to try and find something to join you on. If that's something you're interested in or want to do. For those of you who aren't in a situation yet, lower back exercises, stretching, and use your goddamn glutes to lift. This will save you a world of hurt and help you in the long run. Do it now. No matter how much shit you get. Do it. Edit. To be clear, use your glutes to lift but also strengthen your core, lower back, and hips to make sure you aren't overloading any one of those muscle groups. Source. Recovery from hip surgery and working a lot with points to strengthen the area. Speaking on behalf of my husband, the sheer expectation that he can shoulder everyone's stress. If you are a man with emotional intelligence, people will simultaneously act like you are both a rare unicorn, and that you must take that emotional intelligence and merge it with the men can shoulder it all mentality. This means he's utilized way too often by too many family and friends who don't make any emotional effort. He's asked to manage everyone's drama. He doesn't. But the sheer expectation that he won't burn out simply because he is a man is hard to watch. I've been there. And I had to distance myself because of it. Which leads to accusations of abandonment, etc. This is not limited to just men, but to all people. How we're pretty much left to ourselves in the case of rape, domestic violence or abuse. Yeah. I was molested when I was passed out at a party when I was 15 and never told anyone till right now. At 22 now. Never really figured out how to deal with the emotion, so I just try not to think about it. Edit. Thanks for the support, guys. I'm probably not going to tell any of my family or friends. I just don't want people to see me as a victim. Especially because I'm basically the man of the house after my dad left a few years ago. Maybe I'll talk to a therapist, but probably can't afford it. As for telling a future SO, I think that's off the table. I remembered I had told a girl before when she opened up to me about being abused one night and she didn't even acknowledge it and stopped talking to me after, so I'd rather not tell any woman because they just don't seem to take it seriously and all look at a man differently. I do appreciate you all though. Love you people of Reddit. Being in an abusive relationship and sexually harassed and not having people take you seriously about ITM. God, that is terrifying. This one's a lot less serious than the other answers, but having to be the one to make the first move with a girl is utterly terrifying. I asked the girl I've been crushing on for her number a few days ago, and even though it worked out, I felt like I was about to throw up from all the nerves. It still has an impact and is arguably way more common. I feel you bro with that one. It's a shame. Especially when you don't know how to approach people. No assumed support network. Too many men become isolated and lonely because they cannot share their emotions with their friends. Government services will also put you right to the bottom of every list, so don't become homeless. Yeah. Although I've sort of forced that upon myself. Because I don't want to bother anyone. You could be the most depressed person on the planet and no one would give a shit. It's something I've been thinking about recently and it's making me even more depressed. This may sound stupid, but I've realized, like you did, that no one gives a shit. So I just started to act without pleasing others and caring what they think about me. OFC, I still care, but much less than before. I love spending time with the right people, and I like my friends a lot. But I know, out of experience, that in the end, it will always be me and myself. Best friends for 10 years? That can change from one day to another. Being in a relationship for years? You can also be alone from one day to the other. My point is that I love being with those people. But I always know that tomorrow I could be all by myself. No matter what I do. Realizing that gives you some kind of freedom. And I don't need to justify myself anymore, except in professional legal situations. The first time one of your balls ascends into your groin. I'm confused. Can you explain what this is? 26-year-old male. Edit. Thanks you all, now I'm worried my balls are gonna disappear. Expectations to be a man. It's actually pretty straightforward. Step 1. Be swift as a coursing river. The loneliness of it. I've got a small but very close-knit group of friends and family. But even still I sometimes wonder why I'm so unlovable because I'm still single. People tell women all the time they don't need no man. But for guys, if you're single you're seen as a creep. Weirdo or defective in some way. I don't think anyone sees me as a creep, weirdo, or defective because I'm 30 and still single. But I definitely do. It makes me feel worthless a lot. And even if I did get a girlfriend I feel like I wouldn't be able to keep her for long because I'd still be undeserving shit. It's hard when self-hatred gets ingrained. That in some circumstances, you can be blamed of inappropriate behavior even if you didn't intend for it. And still not be able to justify it. That sometimes you're expected to make the first move or show dominance. Like when proposing. Or leading a group to do something. That you can get a boner at any second. And if someone sees it, it either becomes a joke or an embarrassment. And if you get hit down there, then you know what happens. Excruciating pain plus a danger of becoming impotent or related complications. That sometimes you're expected to make the first move or show dominance. Like when proposing. Or leading a group to do something. I'm not a man, but I hate that society teaches this to young boys. I personally rather approach a guy I happen to like. I was rejected maybe twice because the guy's already had a girlfriend. I know what I like and I'm far too impatient to wait around and hope to get it. Fear of failing the people who are depending on you. This hit hard. As a teacher, I can't help a female student without people thinking I'm trying to duck her. My sister stayed after in a class along with another girl her age to retake a test. And after my sister finished the test, she got ready to leave. The teacher, who is a man, asked her to stay until the other student was done. I can only assume it's because the male teacher didn't want to be alone in the classroom with a female student. I'm in college, so I often go to the library cafeteria late at night. It is the most uncomfortable thing to walk back home to my dorm room that a girl in front of me is also walking to. I have to force myself to stop walking or really slow down because I never want the girl to feel uncomfortable. I'd imagine it's a lot more uncomfortable for the girl in front of me. But I am truly terrified of being seen as creepy or as a stalker. Edit. This is not a men's rights post or anything of the sort. Violence against women is not something I take lightly. This is a lose-lose situation for everyone involved. Especially for the women who fear for their own safety. In these situations, I have started to take my keys out, hold them by the keychain, and let them jingle a little as a friendly heads up that there's somebody behind and not trying to be weird about it. Edit. Welp. Didn't know a television serial killer apparently did the same thing. I like to watch happy things. You're pretty much on your own. Less of your problems are taken seriously. You're seen as weak if you can't sort them out. You're expected to throw yourself in harm's way at a moment's notice. The courts look at you less favorably. So does a large portion of society. You're seen as a potential rapist and child molester. I love kids, but God forbid I smile at one in public. You're the one who has to be able to sort everything out. Even if you sometimes feel like just curling up in a ball and crying. Expressing feelings. I'm still a human. I should be able to express my feelings without seeming weak. 100%. Even men push this bullshit to other men. It's so garbage. It ducked me up for quite a few years of my life before I said duck it and expressed my feelings in any way I wanted. Losing your penis in an industrial accident. Industrial accident, just a fancy way of saying putting your dong somewhere it doesn't belong. Prostate cancer. I don't know if it is actually scary for me, but awkward and something I overthink. I am over 6 feet 5 inches. Can kind of come off as intimidating due to that alone. But am really just a teddy bear. At my job, I have to walk through a dark alley in a downtown area to get to the parking lot. Lots of times, there are women walking back to go to their cars as well. And then my lumbering loner self is walking behind them. I feel awkward and scared they are going to think I am going to hurt them or I'm going to rob them or something. I'm just trying to get home. I follow farther behind. Always act as inconspicuous as possible. Which probably makes me more suspicious. Get on my phone like I am texting or act like I am calling someone so they can hear I am far behind them and not stalking up on them. Maybe it's just my social awkwardness or the fact there is a lot of crime that happens in our town. But I don't want to be seen as a threat by people I would never hurt. I made sure to know my regular women around where I worked so that I can follow them back to their cars when I worked at another retail chain. They get a big do to protect them at night and I don't have to walk by myself. Equals. How difficult it can be to find intimacy if you are introverted and not conventionally attractive. Not conventionally attractive. Haha. That's a funny way of saying you look like me. Being told to man up when you're having a terrible day. The lack of feeling. I can't remember the last time I was excited about anything. That fluttering that you feel in your chest as well as your mind. I miss the passion of childhood. I miss thinking that anything mattered. Or, if it does matter, that I can do anything about it. I miss being able to connect with others and feel that shared sense of wonder and excitement and life. I miss connecting with anything in any meaningful way. I miss being alive. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.